Good day, everybody. Today I'm going to be reviewing the game Vampire Hunter. This game came out in 2002 from Milton Bradley, and it is for 2 to 4 players. Now, this game is touted as the game that transforms before your very eyes, and it does. It has a really cool little castle that has 2 different light settings on it that you're going to be using throughout the game to represent day and night. And depending on what color the light is, the board is going to look different, as will the die and then some of the tiles on the board as well. And the object is you're going to try to kill off the vampire before he escapes. So let's show you Vampire Hunter. Okay, everybody, let's go ahead and get started. We'll go ahead and start with the game board, and there's 4 different sections over here. You got the graveyard, the marsh, the dining room, and the crypt. And the crypt is where Dracus is going to be. He's going to be over here in this coffin. Now you also have player pieces over here, and they're all white, and you're going to just simply choose one. I think there's 2 men and 2 women. I'm going to just choose one. Right here is a ship, and throughout the game, the ship is going to be moving towards over here, and if the ship ends up getting to this point, Dracus is going to escape and everybody is going to lose. On each section there are going to be different tiles as well. You've got tiles here that have gravestones, ravens, skulls, and bats. Now underneath these tiles are going to be different things. One of them can be weapons. Now there's 3 different weapons that you're going to need in order to kill Dracus. You're going to need garlic, which you're going to start with. You're going to need a sword, and then you are also going to need a stake. The sword and the stake are going to be underneath these different tiles. Now under the tiles there can also be creatures. There can be a wolf, and then there are 3 different types of tiles that have pictures embedded in them. One of them is going to be tinted red, and then another is going to be tinted blue. The tinted red pictures are safe. They're going to be a gravestone, they're going to be a villager, but if they turn blue, then they're going to end up turning into werewolves, zombies, and vampires, which are going to be bad. Now in the middle of this game there is a castle, as you can see, and this actually has a light, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it on, and you're going to start off in red. Now throughout the game this color is going to be changing from red to blue. Red signifies day and blue signifies night. Now you're going to be playing this game in the dark, and the creatures are going to be on the night, so you're going to see a werewolf during night and so on and so forth, but during the day you're going to see the safe things like the gravestone and the villagers. Now also on the board there are some pictures here that are colored red and blue, and depending on what color it is and what color this is what is going to be showing up on the board. With red you'll see a couple secret passages. With blue you're going to be seeing traps, and there's also a secret passage here that I'll talk about. Now these trap spaces are only going to be seen at night, not during the day. However, if you're on a space during the day and it turns to the night and then the trap shows up underneath you, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go back to the start space of the area in which you are in. And there's a movement die on here, and this is also embedded in 2 different colors. The number on the die is actually going to be different depending on what color the tower is. Now you also have a hit die, and you're going to be using this to battle Dracus and then any creatures. If you score a hit, you're going to defeat the creature. If you end up scoring a miss, you're going to have to go back to the entrance of the area that you're in. So if you're in the marsh area, battle somebody, and you lost, you would just go back over here to the hit area. We also have some cards, and there's 2 different types of cards. There's one that says change to night, and then there's another one that says change today and advance ship 1 space. If you get this card, if it's night, you're simply going to change it to day and then move the ship 1 space. If it says change to night, you're simply going to go ahead and change it to night. And if it's already at night and day, you're not going to have to do anything. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and shut off the lights just to kind of show you what everything looks like here. So here it is in red. Now the traps are gone, and you're going to see a couple of the secret passages. Turn it to night, you'll see the trap spaces. Any of the tiles that were turned over that were villagers and gravestones and things of that nature are now going to be creatures. Taking a look at the die here, this is the way a die would look like during the day. And then here is one it turns at night. You'll note that the number changes. These are the tiles during the day. You'll note the gravestone, mist, and the different villagers. Turn it to night. You'll now note that they are creatures, the zombie, the werewolf, and then the vampire. Now the object of the game is you're going to try to be the first one to kill off Dracus before he ends up escaping. So here's what you're going to do. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and turn over a card, and this says change today, advance ship 1 space. So it's already day, and I'm going to go ahead and advance the ship 1 space. The next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to check to see if my hunter is on a trap. If it turns out that he happens to be on a secret passage, I will be able to use the secret passage, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But anyway, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and roll this movement die, and since we're on red, he rolled a 4, so he's going to go ahead and move 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's going to go ahead and move. Now, he does not have to move the full amount of spaces on the die, and he's not going to be able to move diagonally. So let's say I went 1, 2, 3, and I ended up over there. If I end up on a secret passage or I move to a secret passage, I'll be able to go 1, 2, get a free move, and then go 3, 4, etc. like that. But let's just say for now I'm over here. If I end up adjacent to any tiles that are horizontal or vertically to me, I'm going to go ahead and turn them over. If it turns out to be a weapon, which this one is, I'm going to go ahead and put it into my pile over here. And let's see what this one is. This one is looks to be a villager of some kind, so right now I'm safe. It's not blue. And let's see what this one is. This is a sword. Now, I already have a sword, so I'm not going to need it. But let's say it happened to be night. I'm going to be fighting a creature of some kind. If I end up next to a creature, I'm going to have to roll this die, and this is a hit die. If I score a hit, let's say I roll and I scored a hit. If I scored a hit, I'll have ended up killing the creature, and I will go ahead and put him out of play. If I end up hitting a skull, I will have lost the battle, and I'll have to go back to the start space of the area that you are in. Now, if you're turning over multiple tiles and you have multiple creatures, you'll just simply fight them one at a time. Now, I'll be able to move over these tile spaces so long as they're safe, like gravestones and things like that. If they're creatures, I won't be able to, and I'm also not going to be able to end my turn on top of a tile. Now, once you make your way all the way over here to where Dracus is, you're going to put your pawn next to him, and then you're going to turn Dracus over like so. And then the ship is not going to be moving anymore, and you're not going to be drawing any more cards since you've caught up to Dracus. Now what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to score 3 hits in a row, and you're going to do that with the 3 weapons that you've caught. If you'll pick a weapon, let's say I pick this. This is the stake, and I rolled, I scored a hit. So in this case, I will go ahead and place the weapon over here, and then I'll choose another weapon. I'll choose the garlic. So let's say I roll, and now I've rolled a skull. So what happens is now my character is going to go back over here to the entrance, but I'm going to leave this weapon here since he has been hit. So now I'll only have 2 weapons left to have to hit him with. Once you get back over here to Dracus, you'll be able to try to roll again, and let's just say I rolled, and I rolled another hit. So this will be my second tile. I'll go ahead and put him here. But let's just say I ended up rolling another hit. I will go ahead and place the 3rd weapon onto him over there, and then I will go ahead and turn it back today. And he's going to have a rather scary picture of some kind. But anyway, folks, whoever is the first person to kill off Dracus is going to win the game. Or if Dracus' ship makes it all the way over to the top of the board, everybody is going to lose and Dracus will escape. And that, folks, is Vampire Hunter. So my final thoughts on Vampire Hunter. Well, this is a game my friend Matt gave me about 2 years ago when he first came to visit. I ended up selling the game a little later on, and then when he came back just a couple weeks later, he had another copy of this game that he gave to me. So I think I'm meant to have this game. Let's talk about the components. Very cool looking game. Love the castle, love the little lights, love the way that it changes the color. I love the way that the board changes, and I love the way the tiles change, and it kind of changes the gameplay some when it goes from a safe tile like a gravestone to an evil creature that you have to end up fighting. Now, the game itself, at its core, is very dice driven. You're going to roll the dice to move, you're going to roll the die to fight the creatures. There really isn't anything past that as far as death. Now, there are some advanced rules in the game. You have to fight a vampire, you have to have a stake in your collection. If you don't, you can't fight them. If you have to fight a zombie or a werewolf, you have to have a sword. If you don't have that, then you're not going to be able to fight them. That way it'll make the game harder and you'll have less time to try to get Dracus. Also, depending on how many players you play with, you're only going to have a certain amount of ship cards. I think with 2 players, you have to take out a few ship cards, but if you're playing with 2 players, you could always throw those back in there to make the game more challenging. If you want to make it even more challenging, you could probably make your own set of cards that you can play on your opponent, try to make it harder for him to get to Dracus or get around the board. So there are some things that you can do to make the game more challenging. This is a game that's mainly for teenagers. Would they enjoy this today? That's a tough call because most of them are playing online games now. For adults that are into tabletop games, this is a game that's very cool to look at. Definitely a conversation piece if you have it set out and things of that nature. But it's very light. So it really just depends on whether or not you like games like this that look really cool. But there are some things you can do to make the game better. So guys, that's my review of Vampire Hunter. We'll see you later. Keep on gaming.